Hello children, I hope you are all healthy and happy. Welcome to this special English hour. Here, every day, we will learn something new in a fun and interesting way. Are you ready to have fun? Then come, let's begin today's session. Children, I would like to ask you a few questions. Let us share our thoughts and ideas. Children, do you feel proud to be called an Indian? I'm sure we all take great pride in calling ourselves Indians, and we are very proud of this nation called India. Children, what dream, what vision do you hold for India? How would you like to see this country in the future? I'm sure a lot of us would like to see India as a developed nation, with its cities and villages all well developed, with the social and industrial infrastructure set up really well. Children, there are many visionaries in our country that held a great vision for this country. One of them was Dr. A.P.J. Abdul Kalam. He was the President of India between the year 2002 to 2007. He was the 11th President of India. He was fondly called the Missile Man of India. Children, would you like to know what vision did Dr. Kalam hold for India? Then come, let's read this story together. Children, words are very important for a language. I would like to share with you a few new words. Please listen to me carefully and note them down in your notebook. The first word is potential. 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 Second word, validated. 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 Third word, nurture. 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 Fourth word, satellite. 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 Fifth word, self-sustaining. 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 Sixth word, proclaim. 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 Let me repeat these words once again. Potential, validated, nurture, satellite, self-sustaining, proclaim. Children, please look out for these words in the lesson that we will be reading and try to guess their meaning. Children, now that we have spoken so much about Dr. A.P.J. Abdul Kalam, come, let's read an interesting lesson on him. Children, we will be reading 3 visions for India. If you have a textbook, please open to page number 40. Please point to the words as I read. If you don't have a textbook, please watch your TV screens and listen to me carefully. Look out for the new words we just noted and try to guess their meaning. 3 visions for India. Dr. A.P.J. Abdul Kalam, the father of India's integrated guided missile program, states 3 visions for India based on the achievements and progress that he has witnessed in the history of the nation and during his own career as a missile scientist. Dr. Kalam's 3 visions for India are freedom, development, and standing up. The focus of his presentation is on developing India to its fullest potential, while standing up to the rest of the world with fully validated self-respect for the achievements that have been obtained in the modern times. Dr. A.P.J. Abdul Kalam was a missile scientist. He was known as the father of India's integrated guided missile program. He had 3 visions for India: freedom, development, and standing up. He wanted India to develop to its full potential, means to its full capacity, to its fullest ability, and stand up to the rest of the world. That is, to be brave and to face challenges with validation. That means with proof of its achievements and its progress. If we are not free, no one will respect us. I have 3 visions for India. In 3000 years of our history, people from all over the world have come and invaded us, captured our land, and conquered our minds. From Alexander onwards, the Greeks, the Portuguese, the British, the French, the Dutch, all of them came and looted us and took over what was ours. Yet, we have not done this to any other nation. We have not conquered anyone. We have not grabbed their land, their culture, and their history, nor tried to force our way of life on them. Why? Because we respect the freedom of others. If we are not free, no one will respect us. Dr. A.P.J. Abdul Kalam talks about the importance of freedom. He says that history is witness that many invaders came to India, invaded our land and our wealth. But since India became independent and democratic, India has not tried to invade any other country or land. That is why my first vision for India is freedom. I believe that India had its first vision of freedom in 1857, when we started the War of Independence. It is this freedom that we must protect and nurture and build on. If we are not free, no one will respect us. Dr. Kalam understood the importance of freedom. He shares how in 1857, India began its war for freedom, and it was only in 1947, after a lot of struggle and sacrifice, that India got its freedom. My second vision for India is development. For 50 years, we have been a developing nation. It is time to see ourselves as a developed nation. We are among the top 5 nations of the world in terms of gross domestic product, GDP. We have 10% growth rate in most areas. Our poverty levels are falling and our achievements are being globally recognized today. Yet, we lack the self-confidence to see ourselves as a developed nation, self-reliant and self-assured. Isn't this right? Dr. Kalam's second vision for India is development. He says that for 50 years, India has been a developing nation. Now it's time that India sees itself as a developed nation. India is amongst the top 5 countries that have the maximum gross domestic product. Most of its sectors have a growth rate of 10% or more. Now, India should have a vision for itself and also be able to proudly say that it is a self-reliant, self-dependent country. India must stand up to the world. I have a third vision, that India must stand up to the world or no one will respect us. Only strength respects strength. We must be strong, not only as a military power, but also as an economic power. Both must go hand in hand. Why are we in India so embarrassed to recognize our own strength, our achievements? We are such a great nation. We have so many amazing success stories, but we refuse to acknowledge them. Why? We are the second largest producer of wheat in the world. We are the second largest producer of rice. We are the first in milk production. We are number 1 in remote sensing satellites. Look at Dr. Sudarshan. He has transferred the tribal village into a self-sustaining, self-driving unit. There are millions of such achievements, but our media is obsessed only with bad news and failures and disasters. Dr. Kalam's third vision for India is that it must stand up to the rest of the world. India's military and economic power both need to go hand in hand. India's development stories are many, but they are often not spoken about. Do we not realize that self-respect comes with self-reliance? I was in Tel Aviv once and I was reading the Israeli newspaper. It was the day after a lot of attacks and bombardments and deaths had taken place. The Hamas had struck. But the front page of the newspaper had the picture of a Jewish gentleman who, in 5 years, had transformed his desert land into an orchid farm and granary. It was this inspiring picture that everyone woke up to. The gory details of killings, bombardments, and deaths were inside the newspaper, buried among other news. Isn't it possible in our country? I want to live in a developed India. Another question. Why are we as a nation so obsessed with foreign things? We want foreign TVs, we want foreign shirts, we want foreign technology. Why this obsession with everything imported? Do we not realize that self-respect comes with self-reliance? I was in Hyderabad giving this lecture when a 14-year-old girl asked me for my autograph. I asked her what her goal in life is. She replied, I want to live in a developed India. For her, you and I will have to build this developed India, you must proclaim. Dr. Kalam asks us a question. What is this obsession with foreign technology and foreign goods? We must want to buy what's made in India. We must focus on the strengths of our own country, develop them, and want goods and technology that's made in India. Children, Dr. A.P.J. Abdul Kalam shared his 3 visions for India with us: freedom, development, and standing up to the world. We all must also try our best to play a role so that our country can live with freedom as a developed nation and stand to the rest of the world. Children, now it's time to do an activity. We will learn about finite and infinite verbs. Come, let's have a look and try to understand what these are. Verbs that have the past or the present form are called finite verbs. Verbs in any other form, infinitive, ing or ed, are called infinite verbs. This means that verbs with tense are finite and verbs without tense are infinite. For example, a finite verb is found in a clause in combination with a subject and a tense. For example, I walked home. We saw a deer. They appreciate a little praise now and then. Now let's have a look at the non-finite or infinite verbs. It is used without the verb having a tense. To open, tear off the tab. Looking around, he noticed a letter on the floor. Worn out by the heat, they stopped for a drink. So children, now you will see a few sentences on your screen. These sentences have verbs which are underlined. You need to identify which ones are finite and which are infinite verbs. Children, I hope you were able to solve the activity. Come, let's have a look at the answers. We lack the confidence to see ourselves as a developed nation. Here, lack is finite, to see is infinite, and developed is finite. Next sentence. We stand first in producing milk. Stand is finite. Producing is infinite. Third sentence. I want to live in a developed India. Want is a finite verb. To live is infinite. Next sentence. We prefer buying imported things. Prefer is finite. Buying is infinite. Indians never try to force their way of life on others. To force is non-finite. Having invaded India, they captured our land. Captured is finite. Children, I hope you like this activity. Children, let's do an activity now. We will try to understand clauses and phrases. Clauses. A clause is a group of words that contains a verb and usually other components too. A clause may form part of a sentence or it may be a complete sentence in itself. For example, he was eating a bacon sandwich. A phrase is a group of words that work together to make meaning, but it is not a complete sentence. In other words, it does not have both a subject and a verb. Example of a phrase. The brown hat. This does not make sense by itself. It is not a complete sentence. Children, you will now see a few sentences on your screen and parts of it are underlined. You have to identify that the underlined part is a phrase or a clause. Come, let's begin. Children, I hope you were able to find the answers. Come, let's have a look. People from all over the world have invaded us. From all over the world is a phrase. I believe that India had its first vision of freedom in 1857. I believe is a clause. It is this freedom that we must respect. We must respect is a clause. We are a great nation. A great nation is a phrase. I want to live in a developed India. In a developed India is a phrase. We have so many amazing success stories, but we refuse to acknowledge them. We refuse to acknowledge them is a clause. We have a 10% growth rate in most areas. In most areas is a phrase. Children, I hope you all liked today's session. I would now request you to please make some time and write down the 3 visions that you have for India. Children, till we meet next time, please take care, bye-bye and stay safe.